Hi guys, it's me, Joseph Lincoln again, and for this video that I will be dedicating to Easter in 2025, I have this to say. Here comes the Easter rabbit, hooray! Now, we all remember that Bugs Bunny cartoon where he did that, and it was really hilarious. But for this video, I will be talking about CD number 3 of the Bible miniseries. And I will title this little thing to be from Jesus' arrival in Galilee to his second birthday, that being his resurrection. And so I didn't plan it to be for Easter. I thought that would be the next CD-3. But no, it so happened that the actual event happens on the CD-3. So 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 the part where he resurrects himself, blah blah blah, and all the events that take place after that event. They are covered in CD4 of this. So this is basically what you would expect to see in the stories written in the Bible, Holy Bible. I believe this is the King James version, so it might be kind of off from what you guys might expect. But yeah, it's very important to note that they have a disclaimer in the beginning of this thing that says that it's going to be like it's true to the spirit of the original source material. So there's a major controversy in the miniseries, as well as a personal gripe that I have with it. And, well, we'll get to one sooner than the other one. But right now, let's just enjoy the miracle workings. So basically, this little saga, in part of the saga, refers to the adult life of Jesus Christ. And he's played magnificently by, let's hope I can pronounce this guy's name right, Diogo Morgado, or as many people would say, Hot Jesus, because he is one of the most handsome Jesus Christ I've ever seen. Anyway, this forgoes all of his childhood expertise as being the Son of God, which might be good because I hear there was a book that was cut from the Bible that was Jesus Christ as a little kid putting all kinds of mystical pranks on everybody, and that probably wouldn't be too good. But we eventually, in the last CD-3, we talked about how John the Baptist baptized Jesus Christ and all the other things too. And we also get a view of what a crucifixion would be like. That, that all the events leading up to this point, and that all of his visions and nightmares as a kid of him, being, that you're gonna die, you're gonna sacrifice yourself for all mankind and all that stuff. It was very, I'm sure, very traumatic for a little kid. But we covered all that part already when we covered CD2. Now for CD3. And this is where Jesus Christ arrived in Galilee. And I'm not too up on the geography or political history of the Middle East, but I'm gonna say that I think that Galilee was in what now today is Israel. The way the Ten Commandments pronounce Israel, and all the places there, Jerusalem, Galilee, and all the other cities that I can't remember offhand, were there present in the Bible, and they continue to this day, most of them. So anyway, he works his miracles, by which he forgot which one came first. Leprosy one, or the healing that lame guy, which I'm not too up on it. I'm not too swift with the whole calling a person lame thing, because that's kind of lame, if you ask me. No pun intended, but it sounds kind of stupid. I prefer disabled or handicapped, even though handicapped was more like a derogatory type thing. Here's money put in my cap, that type of thing. But anyway, he says, when he goes there, he speaks with the authority of the Almighty Jehovah or God. You are forgiven of your sins. How would you like to not tell people you can't get up and just get up? So it helps the gentleman up to praise the Lord and all that stuff. Now, this is one thing I wondered. Okay, let's just say that this guy is fully disabled, and that a miracle person came around and made him so that he can't walk again. No, walk for the first time in his lifetime, or let's say several years or decades or so. Wouldn't it let's see here, how should I put this, if someone is not used to walking or doesn't have the gate inside their memories to know how to walk and keep balance and stuff, how would they be able to do so for the first time in, like, say, 20 years, let's say? They'd be stumbling around, they'd be falling on the ground and all that stuff. So that part is nice in the Bible and stuff, but it doesn't jive with logic of the human body for me. Because if, let's say, I was in a coma, for example, for a couple like 5 years, let's say, and then I wake up like instantly, like that. I can't stop my fingers, but you know what I'm trying to say. So they were, let's say that would happen. Okay, I would take me a couple of days at least to relearn how to talk, how to keep balance, how to keep control of my digestive system, and plus there's also the notion of atrophy, that my bones and my muscles would be atrophied to be to the point of being like this. So that I wouldn't be able to walk right away, right outright. I would need like months, if not years of therapy or something around it. So that's my problem with the whole miracle of making a guy walk in front of a bunch of witnesses. That and the fact that this person could obviously be faking it, but let's just go with what the Bible says, and says that this guy was crippled for his entire life, or most of it anyway. And Jesus came along, laid hands on him, forgave him of his sins, and got him up to walk. So let's say that really did happen, which I believe is possible. And that preachers nowadays, the people in the church, those tent revivals, they're phony. they have people over there that pretend to be disabled, and then when they go over to the pastor or the priest or whatever, they say, okay, let me lay my hands on you. Let me course my godly essence into you and stuff. And then they walk. They can walk from the get-go. But anyway, I believe that since Jesus was the Son of God, that he was the Messiah, even though he doesn't really determine this movie, this series, he always, he gives the power to walk again, make up neurons and the muscles and the bones work properly and work in order. So another miracle that he performed is the miracle of that he makes a guy's leprosy disappear. And this is where the CGI comes into play, because when it comes to CGI, you got to do the big events, like they got to do the part of the Red Sea, the Genesis portion of it, with the whole Noah's Ark and that kind of thing, and the Obama seating there. I have no idea why they put that in there, but you got to put that in there, and that kind of thing. But those are really big events. Those are really huge events. But it's interesting they use CGI for small events like curing the guy of leprosy. For example, if it was in the past, like if it was in the Ten Commandment age of movies and cinema, they would just have the guy with like a ton of makeup on, maybe some skin flaps or whatever, and then Jesus would touch him on the forehead or something, and then they would just flick off into a little pile on the floor, which I would consider that to be biblical canon, if you will. That's how it happened. That Jesus would touch a guy, and then the whatever ailed him would come out of his body or fall on the ground or something in a heap. Then you also have the portion in which so instead they have the guy have it kind of disappear step by step from his face. I'm sure that they probably used practical effects for him when they really did have it full on leprosy. But then when they came to CGI, they took a picture of him and then they faded out into half gone and fully gone. And then we have the uncovered actor doing it. And with that, it was fun. It was fun. I like to see that. So then, talk about, now these might be a little out of order from what they are presented in this, but, I guarantee you I'm going to try my best to remember everything, because there's a lot involved in CD. All the GGC things that we do, that he does with a capital H. So anyway, they have they do that thing where he feeds his followers with a basket full of 2 fish and a piece of half piece of bread. So when they showed this, Jesus Christ holds a big basket up in it, and he says, "Let the Lord God feed you." And he pulls down that basket. It's full of fish and bread. You know, Jesus would be a good caterer for a sushi restaurant, or a sushi restaurant, because that seems to be the only thing that can multiply fish and bread. I would think that his followers, the thousands of followers that he has, and want something else besides fish and bread. You know, he want meat or some other thing, maybe wine, perhaps beer. I think they had that back then. But anyway, during this entire time, the song with the whole him arriving in Galilee, he gets some bad attention from some Jewish followers, and that will lead on to my bigger scriptural point of conflict in this that I don't really like too much, and that being the blaming of the Jews for the crucifixion of Mr. Christ right over here. And I don't think that's right to put the Jews on such a detrimental pathway that they killed Jesus, even though he didn't really do it. But whatever, I'll get that later on. So he gets a bunch of negative attention in that regard, and they say that he's causing trouble. He's causing trouble with the mind changers and stuff. I think he gets Simon in there, Ringo, John, and Paul too. I mean, really, some are named that, except Ringo. He's an outfielder. Anyway, he disrupts certain events with some of the big Jewish people over there, and they don't like it. And these people end up going to the Pharisees about it. The Pharisees are like the high priest, if you will, of the Jewish faith back then. I don't know. In the Bible. Anyway, they didn't like it. They consider Jesus Christ to be like a rebel rouser, a bad influence on people. That being, and the fact that he doesn't fulfill some of the prophecies that were promised in the Bible about him. That's a debate, but whatever. And they also have the part where there's an adulterer about to be stoned to death. You know, not the fun stoning. I'm talking about the one that means a lot of pain and probably death. Like getting rocks thrown for adultery, which by all accounts it's barbaric to have a woman being killed by stoning, whereas the husband that does the actual adultery and cheating gets away pretty much scot-free. So anyway, they take this woman to be stoned to death in front of a child, no less. No doubt this is an example for her. And they give a rock to Jesus Christ, then they say, you throw the first stone at that wench. So they said, I'll throw the stone, but only if you guys, the quote was, catch the stone if you yourself have not sinned. It begs more of a equality type question, and forgiveness and all that jazz. it's really touching to see that he helps this woman out, and by doing this for witnesses and giving God's love and forgiveness, he gained quite a bit of glory. So then he does the Sermon on the Mount too, which he preaches to everyone, about certain things, certain inalienable rights that are being trampled on in the modern era. So anyway, it's gathers a lot of people, as well as Mary Magdalene, which people always say was a prostitute. I don't believe that. I believe she was virtuous. Not only that, but it shows the level of equality that Jesus is trying to gather for his groups and apostles and such, that including a woman in there, just one woman so far, not in the Virgin Mary. And let me just throw this out there, okay? Everyone in the movie is cast perfectly. We got Pontius Pilate, which we'll get to in a moment. He looks a lot like Simon Cowell. And then you got the guard that looks like Matthew Leonard, fame. And you have the top Pharisee guy that I swear to Christ, I swear to God, was actually the guy from one of the guys from 300. The guy that was like the captain of the guard. It was so damn funny, and it was so disappointing when I found out that it wasn't him. So anyway, you have him doing all the Jesus stuff as Mr. Diego did good at Jesus Christ. A lot better than Jim Caviezel, but I'll get to later on. So anyway, the thing with the Virgin Mary, the most celebrated woman in all Christianity, and who takes the top spot for it, Roma Downey is the executive producer, director, or their wife, Mark Burnett's wife. So I think she does a fine job in the role. But the thing is that it's too kind of nepotistic to be the most celebrated woman in the whole of Christianity, and it's like, mine, I get that. I want it. Yes, honey, you can do whatever you want. You can be whoever you want. But we'll have the devil be Obama. The guy that looks like Obama. Which he does make big appearances in when Jesus is put in prison, and when he's about to be crucified, the devil's like, yeah, let's get in. He deserves to die. I guess it must be God's will that he sacrificed himself, and Judas is the one that betrays him. All that. Must be all part of God's plan. It's kind of confusing from an atheist point of view, but whatever. I have no idea why they picked a guy that looks so much like Obama, Barack Obama, to be Satan. But anyway, I think it's kind of weird that they got Roma Downey to be, the older Virgin Mary, Mary. And when I was a kid, I was always confused at I thought that Mary Magdalene and the Virgin Mary were the same person, but no, they're not. They're not. They look completely different in this thing. So anyway, and I enjoyed the hell out of the casting in this movie. And I don't know how long my ears will stay on, but I'll give you my hints right now. I'm not gonna take them off. I'm not gonna reattach them if they fall down or whatever. So anyway, they have also have something that I actually love, and that when Jesus' apostles, Mary, Simon, Peter, and I think somebody else too. They'll get into a boat, and they're all crossing the river, the lake, or wherever. And all of a sudden, you see Jesus Christ over there, walking on the water. Now, people will often say that Jesus Christ, when he walked on water the first time, he appeared. He was working on a shallow sandbar. That's why he was able to walk on water, an optical illusion trick or something like that, maybe in the hot sun. But no, during this scene, the waves are like 10 feet tall, and they're very scary and very dramatic. I like the way that Jesus Christ, like, come with me if you want to live. And it's really kind of nice being like calm in the middle of this maelstrom. No relation to me, but it's calming. Come with me if you want calm, peace, and tranquility throughout. And I am the way. Sounds kind of cultish, but whatever. It's religion. It's all good. A lot more forgiving than the Old Testament. Well, it is in the New Testament. So anyway, like I wouldn't be surprised if they had the guy moonwalk in this stormy weather to prove how calm and how in control he is of everything. It's a really touching scene. So, at some point or another, the Pharisees are getting a little anxious because of Jesus' money-changing stunt where he flipped over the tables, much like Teresa Giudice in the Real Housewives of wherever they are. So anyway, the Pharisees are actually pissed off at that, and they call him the Roman guard, led by Pontius Pilate, who again looks like Simon Cowell, an aged Simon Cowell. And my dad even said, "Now, why is it that these guys speak with British accent?" I said, because they're the one that can act pretty well. Even Mr. Christ himself is played by a Portuguese guy, but he can speak with a nice British accent. And I heard that he was a gardener before he took on the role of the Son of God. Which, yeah, was very nice of an actor. Now, let's see here, what was it now? Again, so anyway, the Pharisees expect the Roman guard to track some heads for Jesus Christ and his followers, getting keep order for their precious Passover rituals and whatever, temples and stuff. Like, and the punches. It's like I don't give a shit about Passover rights and temples and stuff. I just want Undertaker to keep the peace. So he does try to keep the peace. And then the next part in which Jesus Christ comes in on the donkey, much like in the first part where he rides the donkey. And wait, it would reverse. It gives flashback to this part where the donkey coming home, going to be crucified and be judged by his peers. But whatever. So, what I want to know is, why is it that we portray Jesus Christ riding the donkey side saddle? I mean, I can understand that for women do the side saddle to retain modesty, but why do they do that for Christ? Is it because of his long robes? No, I don't know. I don't know what that is. Jesus Christ was the ultimate hippie, long hair, and gentle voice and singing atmosphere, and you have to give worldly position and whatnot, because according to him, it's easier for a camel to get through an eye of a needle than for a rich man to get into heaven. So anyway, they show the Christ riding on the donkey, and that's where they get the Palm Sunday from. The Sunday before day. So they show all the disciples there and everything. I want you to take a wild guess who Judas is. Could he be the guy in the red and black robes? This movie wasn't meant to be subtle, was it? But anyway, my dad can do a wonderful job with making palm crosses if you're interested. I have the video right here, and I'll put that in the description below. But anyway, they say, he said the Last Supper and stuff like that. And he said that when it comes to somebody betraying him, he knows that Judas Iscariot, and that he knows what's gonna happen to him. And he knows that Peter is gonna deny him 3 times before the next day is up. So he does that, and I think they were trying to build sympathy up for Judas in this one, because we all know that he betrays Christ, and we all know that he took death for it. But then he tried to throw away the silver that he was given to him, only to be collected by Dante, and Dante found out the game. So they saw all this. And he even hanged himself in guilt for betraying Jesus. And the show Captain of the Cards played by Matthew Lillard. And get the ear cut off, which Jesus healed him, even though he knows that he's a good person. This guard, but he does it anyway. He does the job anyway. I kind of remember the guards from the Green Mile, in that they know that he's a miracle worker, but yet he gotta do his job and kill him anyway. So they show that they put the circle, even though he helped him out and healed him and everything. And then Jesus said, those that live by the sword die by the sword too. So let's see here. I've been jumping around a little bit. Punch's wife, Mrs. Pilate, says to the husband, don't condemn the man. Don't condemn him. He's a good man. He's the Son of God. He's the Messiah, the Messiah. And Punch says, I gotta keep order. I gotta keep, everything calm and everything good for Passover. I like to put you on the next chopping block. Now fire me. So anyway, the Pharisees really want Jesus to hang for this. Quite literally, want him to hang. Even though the process of crucifixion is too Jewish. I'll give you $1 to figure out where that's from. But anyway, they say that. And the thing is that on Passover, the rules state that the people will decide who want to be dead and who want to be forgiven. And the other guy that they put on there is a murderer. I have no idea what his name is. I'm sure he's referenced somewhere in this. But anyway, they show him being a murderer and stuff. They put him out against Jesus Christ. So he said, do you want this preacher or do you want the murderer to die? So now, this is a good opportunity for the Pharisees to say, no, to quietly let the people bet on it, and one day they might die. So, he said that the Pharisee guy, said that this guy is an imposter. He said that he's the Messiah, and he won't shut up. He constantly digging at Jesus and all that, try to say that he's an imposter. He's a fake prophet. He's a fake son of God and all this stuff. Now, they have a character named Nicodemus in there. Nicodemus is a Jew who believes that Jesus Christ is who he says he is. That he's the Son of God. He's the ruler of everything. Of the kingdom of God. All that. Now, I don't think that Jesus actually said that I'm the Son of God. He said that he's the ruler of the kingdom of heaven, and that people should obey tax laws and the earthly kingdom stuff now while they're here on earth, and that when they go to heaven they obey God and all that, and they're rewarded and all that stuff. So it's funny that they mentioned Nicodemus, because the only Nicodemus I knew up until this point was the character from The Secret of Nin. But anyway, he plays a good role in this because he said that he does the funeral rites for Jesus Christ. So anyway, they have now this is why I really don't like this portion, because when they were asking Jesus about himself and what he said for and everything, Jesus Christ answered that the Pharisees don't like, and they were so pissed off. The guy was so pissed off that he ripped off his shirt. He pulled a Hulk Hogan, and he ripped open his shirt, and that I found that kind of funny actually compared to the guy that ripped off his shirt in wrestling. So anyway, he said, "You're an imposter. You die," and all this stuff. Now, I don't like the fact that I'm sure that in scripture, they have to try to blame the Jews for it. They have to have the Jews be like the martyr for killing Christ and stuff. I don't think that's right. I don't think that they should be blamed for killing of the Son of God. Because they don't believe in the same thing that Christ was saying. But they keep hammering on that this guy is an imposter. He's a rebel rouser. He destroys property. He's gonna threaten to destroy the temple. Even though, technically, Christ never actually said that I'm gonna destroy the temple. But he points to a little girl and said, within a week's time, this temple won't have one stone standing. And as he poking the girl like for fun. So, how it is destroyed is a matter of interpretation. But he never says himself that he's going to do it himself. The Pharisee thinks that he's going to destroy it win favor with the masses. So, another important fact to notice is that during this whole trial of Jesus, the only people that are allowed to go into the group are people that will obviously be swayed to Jesus to be swayed against Jesus Christ, and his mother Mary and the other apostles won't be allowed into the place. These people are basically voting against their own goodwill, against their own interest, like a certain political party right now when they vote in November. But anyway, they show this type of stuff, and then they show they show that these guys constantly drive the nail into that Jesus is a bad person, worse than the murderer. Rather than telling the guy to tell, Pontius Pilate just loved and get away with it. And said, when we're just swearing off, put you in jail. And that took them up. But that was too late because they want the murderer to go free. Convicted murderer to go free. Whereas the good preacher guy, they want killed. Anyway, the next portion is the Passion of Christ portion. And I'm really glad that they decided not to go as brutal or as slow motion heavy as Mel Gibson's version. I'll cover that next year because it's really, really depressing to watch that. As somebody that is moderately religious, my parents couldn't watch it without crying. My grandparents couldn't watch it without crying. Because there's so much into religion and such. So anyway, they show Jesus getting whipped and beaten with the crown of thorns on his head. And when he had to carry the cross, he shared the burden with another man, and then a woman gives him some water. And I guess that he must give those people free tickets to heaven. for helping him out and stuff. And he was quite little down his knees and his luck. But I like to think that if this was a Mel Gibson version, they would have at least another 20-hit combo in there, in between the lashes and the Carry of the Cross. Plus, they would have been singing the song would be good. Anyway, I can make that joke because I'm Catholic too, so it's fun. It's a joke on my part, on my religion, so I can do that. But if someone else makes fun of it, do mind them. So anyway, but wait, when the woman gives the word to Jesus, there's no mention helping out the black guy that's helping out. No water for you, no soup for you, and that's kind of cool actually, giving some word to the Son of God, or who you believe is the Son of God, not his helper. So anyway, they show this, and thank goodness it's not as bloody or as visceral or as wet as the Passion version. Thank goodness. So anyway, they show him climbing the mount, and I always found it quite cool that they would have the character actually they actually show the people actually carrying their own crosses, like carrying their own coffin to the gravestone as the more depressing part of it. And then they showed the part where they show them hammering Jesus to the cross, and they show I can't say what it's and I don't have good right or not, but they show him getting his palms pierced through with nails. I'm like, ow, that's gotta hurt. Not a joke. I mean, I really did say that when I watched it with my father, but he didn't like the passion portion because obviously he's more religious than I am. I'm like, why are you so cruel? Why are you so sadistic that you gotta be jokes like this? And first of all, I'm not making a joke at the actual story behind it. The fact that Jesus Christ sacrificed himself for the good of humanity and all that other stuff. I'm making fun of the act in the movie, which I am. I'm making fun of the actual movie itself, not the story behind it. Same way I do the Ten Commandments, when I do that story, I'm gonna be making fun of the movie itself, not the actual story or the character behind it. So anyway, I want to show a picture of the guy that plays Pontius Pilate. He's right on the back cover of that Bible mini series. And you can just imagine him. That was dreadful, honey. Please leave. Let me see if you got shaky here. No, they don't. They do. Oh, wait, they do. With the head of the Pharisees, in the corner. You see him with the weight with towel on his head. Not towel, but the thing, the traditional garb. So anyway, so all that. And they even have a thing with Pharisee and with Pontius Pilate, saying that Jesus, he like Jesus Christ, he's the King of the Jews. That's what Pontius wants, and an epitaph. And the Pharisee said, "No, I want you to put down Jesus Christ. He claimed to be King of the Jews." To where Pontius said, "Listen here, it's whatever I say it is." And then you put down, he was the king of the Jews. But you know, Jesus Christ was Jewish, and he was darker skin than this. But I'm glad that they picked this actor to play Jesus Christ, because my dad just received a Jehovah's Witness pamphlet. Yeah, I'm thinking he's really not religious. And they even did some picture of Jesus Christ with it. And it's funny because the guy that they got to play Jesus Christ is not this guy. This guy is a whole lot better looking than that guy. I know it's a minor nitpick, I'm just saying. I just wish I had it with me. I could show you guys this, but I can't throw it out if I could say something. So anyway, they show him being crucified, and then they show him being planted in the ground. While the Pharisee is doing the rites of passage for Passover, his present Passover thing. And it's funny, he's got a nice new hat on too. I don't know what you call that, but it looks like a bus cap. So anyway, during the whole thing, Jesus Christ dying, but they are nice enough to give him water on a sponge, maybe it's bread, and that's really nice. But it's also really nice that the blood and the blood and body of Christ, the wine and the water, the wine and the bread. I'm sorry, but I like that reference to that thing that Lord Jesus spent a really good time at to get pure wine for blood. And that was very funny. So anyway, I don't know if that was part of the story about Jesus Christ crucifixion, but I like the part where he says, "Forgive them, Father, for they know not what they do." Sounds like someone voted Democrat if Jesus exists today. So anyway, I also like the parody of the scene in the movie Monty Python and the Holy Grail. He says, "Oh look on the bright side of life," as he's being killed. I like the idea of Jesus Christ extends to his neighbors in crucifixion the opportunity to go to heaven, that you'll be on my right side. Even though technically he's on the left side, but who's counting? So anyway, let's see what else there. I think that when they made this story, I think that they made I know it's clear that they made Judas Iscariot on the side of the devil, or Satan in this case, along with the Roman soldiers and Jews that go with him. But I think that from God's perspective, it's kind of weird because they're just playing along with whatever he wants, whatever his source says it is. So in other words, we're kind of like demonizing these characters for no reason. You know, like they're just doing what the Almighty wanted them to do in the first place. So that's that. So yeah. Then at the end, Jesus Christ ends up passing away, unfortunately, and much more gracefully than the crucifixion part in Carrie White's bedroom on the staircase would depict, and to show a Roman soldier stabbing him on the side and treated dead with the Spear of Destiny that was featured in the movie Constantine. So anyway, it was really funny that they have it in the movie with the blood of Jesus Christ. I don't know, dried blood would really count for that, but whatever. So it's a movie based on comic book character, based on a story from the Bible, like ancillary, a story from the Bible. And let's see what else there. They also mentioned where the palm Sunday is so sacred because back then, at the time, palms were kind of like rare, so you only get them in that time when during that day. That's why the churches only have them there on that day. Let's see here. So the moment that Jesus Christ passed away, you see a bunch of signs that he was really the Son of God, and that we killed them. The Romans actually killed him under the influence of the Jews, the Pharisees. So anyway, even if this story was 100% true, you should be blaming the Pharisees for death, not the entire Jewish faith. Not every Jew is in part to blame. Just those individuals, those 3 or so individuals that influenced the crowd to turn on Christ. And the Romans were just doing their job. Sounds like a kind of a Nazi type thing, like that, that a few people influence the masses in doing the jobs and doing horrible things. So in any case, the thing is that Jesus died on the cross, and then a whole big stone cloud appeared and knocked the entire temple down to the rubble, like according to the story. So it came true that what Jesus said, that all the stone temple will be destroyed during Passover, during the most important part of the Jewish holiday up until that point. And it was like kind of funny, kind of odd that it came true. That I guess he really was the Son of God. You didn't have to believe it at that point. You actually had factual information about that that he died and these horrible things happened. Your precious temple was destroyed during your more precious Passover time. So anyway, the apostles who loved Jesus were over there. They had no rabbi, a teacher, or master to talk to them. No people over there to actually follow. Nobody to actually it almost sounds like a little bit of a cult there that the people following Jesus Christ, a cult leader, and he led them around and told them about new things, and they always get to heaven through me, etc., etc., etc. I happily remember the cult to Christianity. Something we have Catholicism. I don't know what the difference between that and Baptists and Anabaptists, Protestants, so on and so forth. And I don't really care either. But that's the story about Jesus Christ. And I wish to end it there, but it goes on from there. Because Mary Magdalene goes to his tomb set by a big huge rock. And he also while he was alive, he brought back Lazarus, which everybody knows from the Batman movie, the Batman show. Lazarus, the guy that was dead for 3 days. Then Jesus went into his tomb and breathed life back into him. Which I like the way they do in this movie, because Jesus goes back to the back of his head when he's lying down on the stone tablet there, table. And then he just breathes into him, and he looks up right as Lazarus opens up his big black eyes. And it's almost creepy the way that big eyes look. They look kind of like anime eyes. But anyway, that's very quite sweet. He meets up with his sister and stuff, so that he can do to that guy Lazarus, which later on he'll open up pits for very Shagul and etc. and Tariagu and stuff like that. Open Lazarus spot pits. And but that's that. So to do it with some guy who's channeling his own godly essence back into that guy, his soul power and stuff, he can do himself. So he does. And he does it, he ends up, not only does he move the stone out of the way, but he does like a Hulk smash. He smashes it into two big colossal pieces. And when Mary goes in to investigate him, there's nobody in it, nobody home. And she goes through all the shrouds and stuff. And it's so sweet because Nicodemus gets permission to do the holy rites and stuff. And even he's surprised that Jesus is not there anymore. Jesus of Nazareth. And it's funny that the Pharisees said nothing good had come out of Galilee. So anyway, this is what I would consider to be Jesus Christ's second birthday, because he gets two birthdays, because he's the Son of God, or God himself, whatever you prefer. So anyway, he gets two birthdays. I'm gonna be trying to figure out where I got that from. So anyway, they show him out going to Mary outside the doorway. And he says, you have much work to do, but I will always be with you. And it's funny that he does all this, and he still has the holes in his hands from when he was crucified, when they put nails into his hands. I would assume that he would also have that in his feet too, because that's what they throw the stick into his feet. But yes, that's a really, really cool way to do it. The CGI and stuff. Just don't ask him how far for you, because that'd be a mess. But I like the way they also don't show any blood with these holes in his hands. Because Jesus Christ should be holy. No pun on the name of it, but magnificent, pure, clean, all of this stuff. And highly spiritual. And blood is not part of that. Blood is a body. And not somebody that transcends the bubble, all of that. So anyway, he goes back to everyone and that Jesus has come back and he never left us. And that's where it ends. So I like that story, even though there are a few little problems with it. And I do like David doing an narrative of that thing. But there is a little bit of a disappointment, because in the next portion of it, the Son of God, I'll cover it later on, maybe in December, when we do the last year of this Bible mini series. But I thought that maybe this would be something more inspiring and more of that, but it wasn't. Or is it just the Jesus portion of this movie show, but condensed into one DVD? The exact same stuff, no addition, no special edition, no nothing. Just this stuff, the 5 hours put into this form, which is a big ripoff. Even though this is only like 5 hours. But yeah, if you want more Judas kisses and all that, which I think it's like a move in some more combat game or something. And it just looks so where it killed Jesus Christ. The cream stepping in the back and stuff. But it feels hard for him because he didn't get to wait at supper. Because he realized that they would kill Jesus. They thought that he would just get a fair trial and a fair shake. Until he realized that, oh my God, I shouldn't betray the Son, the Lord of Cosmos. And let's see here, even though this Song of God DVD was only like 5 hours, it's still a but yet in the next CD worth see more about the apostles spreading the word of Jesus Christ to the 5 corners of the earth. See Paul of Tarsus. It's the other people too. All in the name of spreading the word of Jesus, God, and forgiveness, and sin being released. Yeah, they do have some parts of Obama, Satan. I don't know why they put that in there. But I don't think there's any more Pontius Pilate, no more Pharisees, no more evil, just pure goodness. And for all my bitching about Roma Downey, she does do a great job in playing the Virgin Mary. And she's seen her son being crucified, and she's bawling her eyes out for him. Yeah, if that real, you'd be bawling bad too. That Jesus finally was finally ended of his nightmares and his prophecy about him doing a very important thing about sacrificing himself for himself, to himself, for all humanity. And that was like really good. Could really see the emotion in everybody's faces as he was getting nailed to the cross, quite literally. And it was a hell of a lot better than the past movie. And anyway, I thank you for watching my video on CD-3 of the Bible mini-series. Going from Jesus' arrival in Galilee to his second birthday, his resurrection. It was fun to watch again. It was much less violent, much less gory, much less intense than the Passion movie that was specifically designed for the part shock value. And it was, of course, based on the spirit of what was in the Bible with Keith David's smooth jazz voice, which was also the voice of Spawn and the voice of Dr. Surier from Princess and the Frog, as well as Galilee from Disney Gargoyles. So it was actually kind of weird for him to play being associated with all these demonic creatures there, to be associated with a story about a good thing to do with the Bible in the Old Testament versus the New Testament. So you would think he would try to voice the devil or Satan, but he didn't. Anyway, the production value was pretty high for all this. And yeah, I am grateful for all that. Even though it was a little bit confusing to me as to which CD was the next in line for me. Number 3 was numerically the next one in line. But it was actually a little bit on the confusing side, because both CD3 and 4 have like a similar recaps of what happened beforehand. So when I thought like 3 or 4 episodes dedicated to Jesus-y stuff. And thank you for watching my video on CD-3 of that again. I did for Easter in 2025. No, I did not do that on purpose. That Easter would come about when I would talk about that one, when he was born again and risen again and all that stuff. That was Easter 2005. I can imagine. And give this my happy face seal of approval. It's freaking awesome. Anyway, if you guys like what you hear and you want to see more of my videos and such, you can always like, comment, share, and subscribe to my channel. You can also You can also comment on any type of future videos and such by using my cell phone number to call me or text me at 631-707-3707, or you can follow me on Twitter at PNelsonPro. My email is jjsviewingchannel@gmail.com. Remember, guys, I salute everyone that likes the Christianity or religious stuff. This is definitely worth your time. Go for it. It's the most authentic kind of biblical stories and Jesus Christ stuff that I've seen so far. So, peace out, my brothers and sisters. I'll see you in the next video, where we rule and guide into the land. And it's actually kind of weird that Romans crucified Christ, but yet Italians are mostly Catholics. So figure that one out. However, dare to all you girls and guys in the land. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.